They tried to kick my 78-year-old grandpa out of his own home, thinking with me gone for work 3 states away, he'd be easy pickings. Wrong family, wrong ranch, wrong generation. The moment I heard, I was tearing down highways with my old Ford, the only thing in my head that HOA president's name, Pamela. $5,000 in fines, 30 days to pay, or we'd lose the place my great-great-grandpa settled when this land was nothing but sage and wagon ruts. She thought she could corner us, use my absence and my grandpa's age like weapons. She didn't know me at all. You ever get that call where the voice on the other end makes you drop whatever you're holding? That's how it started. Sarah Conway, my deputy, didn't waste words. Just, Ethan, you need to get home. Now. It's your grandpa. Pamela's circling. I'll never forget how cold my hands went, hay bale tumbling from my arms in the Wyoming heat. The ranch had been in our blood 4 generations. My grandpa, Walter, had seen drought, flood, the kind of loss that makes a man quiet. But he'd never looked small until I found him on the porch, the HOA's white envelope like a snake on the welcome mat. I took in the $5,000 fine for a deteriorating barn and a vacate notice that said 30 days. The barn? Sure, it needed paint, but we built that frame to last. This wasn't about a barn. It was about 300 acres, the best left in Clearwater, that developers had been dreaming about since this sleepy town started waking up to Boise sprawl. Pamela made it personal, too, showing up with her fake smile, telling Walter our ranch dragged down property values. Grandpa just gripped his coffee, told her Rose's wildflowers outshone her soul. She just grinned that grin and called it progress. If you want to know what small-town war feels like, head to the Rusty Spur on a Friday when folks have bad news. Buck, the owner, didn't even ask, just slid a beer down the bar. She's been waiting on you, Ethan. I heard it from Clara, too, the neighbor who got fined last year for her garden. And then Sarah, in uniform, showing me the paperwork. How Pamela's HOA claimed powers over land that predated it by decades. They'd been targeting the old families, especially those with land, using loopholes and changing bylaws in the dark. But they left gaps. Sarah found the cracks. I promised Grandpa that night I'd fight. Even if Pamela buried us in lawyers and fines, I had the badge and a stubborn streak that outlasts drought. But let's be honest, I was scared. Not for myself. For Walter. For what the fight might cost. Next morning, the county inspector came, clipboard shaking in his hands. I knew him, Jim Morrison. I'd helped his daughter last year, but now he wouldn't meet my eyes. Pamela's got everyone on the commission in her pocket, he muttered, then handed me a report that read like a death sentence for the barn. Under his breath, he told me, check section 47B, grandfather clause. Might buy you time. He was trapped too. Pamela squeezed everybody. The next HOA meeting was a circus, Pamela in a power suit, projecting photos of our place to look haunted. She called Grandpa unfit, suggested dementia, tried to paint me as an absent, selfish grandson. I stood and challenged her, badge glinting under fluorescent lights. She was ready, twisting my work in Wyoming into abandonment. The crowd splitting, some people hungry for our land, others just scared. Sarah cornered me in the parking lot, fired up. She'd found that Jim's second mortgage had been paid off through shell companies linked to Pamela. The rot went deeper than I thought. She was buying people out wholesale, not just squeezing them. Then she told me about Travis Boone, the developer who needed our ranch for his next project. The pieces fit together. We were just a pawn in a bigger land grab. Grandpa kept fighting, too. When Pamela showed up again with cookies, Rose's recipe, he fed them to the chickens. Rose knew the difference between homes and investments. He laughed, still proud. The barn, condemned in Pamela's files, became our war room. Neighbors gathered. Buck, Clara, Hank. Each with stories of how Pamela had wormed into every committee and changed the rules a little at a time. So slow you didn't notice until it was too late. But she miscalculated how small towns really work. People remember who fixed a fence or shared a harvest. Reputation means more than bylaws. We prepared for the next meeting like it was a showdown. Sarah dug up financials. Hank rallied the old-timers. Clara tracked board votes. We caught Pamela fixing ballots, funneling HOA funds to her own real estate deals. The tension was thick as thunderclouds. At the emergency meeting, I crashed in undercover, a catering uniform hiding my face. We'd planted a recorder and waited. Pamela, drunk on power, let her mask slip, boasting how she'd use HOA money to pay for the very development that would erase our legacy. She accidentally revealed her private financials, embezzlement in black and white. All it took was a few commissioners seeing the truth, and the dam broke. Jim confessed on the spot, admitting Pamela had threatened him. People started shouting, lines drawn not by law but by loyalty and memory. Pamela went for the nuclear option, brandishing a restraining order signed by a judge we'd now proven corrupt. But Sarah had the video. Pamela had lied to get it, and the crowd turned, some out of outrage, some out of shame for ever believing her. Travis, the developer, tried to play tough outside the hospital as Grandpa faltered under the stress. But Walter, stubborn even as he collapsed, pulled out the folder he'd been hiding. Conservation easements, a secret plan to make sure the ranch could never be developed, no matter who won. Pamela's whole scheme crumbled. Turns out, even if she'd taken the land, she couldn't build a thing. But she wouldn't go down quiet. Pamela doctored video, filed new charges, tried to turn the community against us by making me the villain. But you can only fool a small town so long. When the truth about the embezzlement hit, the commissioners moved fast. State police showed up, and Sarah, now acting sheriff, slapped cuffs on Pamela right in front of the board and half the town. The look on her face, as her own developer partner tried to cut a deal, was almost worth the hell she'd put us through. Even the corrupt judge went down, arrested in his chambers, records showing years of bribes. The state appointed a new judge, and when Grandpa took the stand, frail but proud, the courtroom was silent as a graveyard. He handed over the easement, ensuring no one could ever pave over Rose's wildflowers. The ranch was protected, forever. Pamela got 15 years. Travis and the judge got their own deals. The HOA collapsed, neighbors rebuilt trust, and the ranch became a landmark. I gave up the badge, Sarah earned it, anyway, and focused on keeping the wildflowers blooming. Turns out, Grandpa played the long game better than any of us knew. So here's what I learned. Community beats corruption every time. Even if the system is rigged, people remember who stood by them. Pamela thought she could buy and bully her way to the top, but she forgot you can't buy what's built on love, memory, and sweat. Now, sitting on Rose's old porch swing, I watch the flowers come back every spring, bright as hope. Folks say the good guys don't win. Sometimes they do. What's your wildest HOA nightmare? Let's hear it. Drop a comment. Tell me where you stand on community, corruption, and whether progress is worth the price. Would you fight back? Or would you walk away? Let's talk.